The Apocalypse says that the beast has 7 heads, and it defines the 7 heads as 7 mountains and 7 kings. The 7 mountains are Rome, and the 7 kings refer to the 7 priest kings of the Vatican city-state. Since the prophecy connects the 7 kings to the end-times beast, you cannot recognize the end-times beast without recognizing who the 7 kings are. In 1929, a brand new, historically verifiable kingdom was established in Rome by the Lateran Treaty. The kingdom is called the Vatican city-state. Pope Pius XI, a valid pope, was the first king of the Vatican city-state. Antipope Benedict XVI was the 7th. The kingship of the first king, Pius XI, was formally announced on Monday, February 11th in 1929, with the signing of the Lateran Treaty. Strikingly, the 7th king, Benedict XVI, formally announced his resignation on a Monday, February 11th in 2013, in a shocking announcement that was followed by 2 lightning strikes at the top of St. Peter's Basilica, the very place where St. Peter is buried. Now, the Apocalypse tells us that the beast rises when 5 of the kings are fallen and 1 is. Thus, the beast rises during the reign of the 6th king. If the 7 kings of the Vatican city-state are the 7 kings of prophecy, and they are, then the end-times beast, namely pagan Rome / the pagan Roman Empire, should have risen or returned during the reign of John Paul II, the 6th king of the Vatican city-state, and that is exactly what happened. The beast rose politically during the reign of John Paul II because the European Union is the reconstituted pagan Roman Empire, and it was officially formed in 1993 during the reign of John Paul II. The symbol of Europe, which is used by the European Union, is Europa, a woman on a beast. Well, a woman sitting on a beast is precisely what St. John describes in Apocalypse 17. St. John was describing pagan Europe, or pagan Rome if you refer to Europe from the standpoint of its spiritual leadership in the last days.
Portraits have long been used in banknotes all over the world, and research has shown that people tend to remember faces. That's why we chose to include a face in the second series of Euro banknotes. The hologram and the watermark include an image of Europa, a figure from Greek mythology. Our continent was named after her, and we found a perfect illustration in the Louvre of how she was depicted over 2,000 years ago.
Au centre de l'image et au premier plan se trouvent les 2 protagonistes. Donc à gauche, cette jeune femme, donc bouclée, parée de bijoux, donc un collier, des bracelets, vêtue d'un vêtement finement plissé. Et devant elle, donc un taureau d'une blancheur éclatante, nous disent les textes, et qui semble s'incliner devant elle dans un geste de révérence. Il s'agit bien donc d'Europe et de Zeus métamorphosé en taureau.
And just as the beast rose politically with the EU when 5 of the kings of the Vatican city-state had fallen, it also rose spiritually at that time with John Paul II, the 6th king. This aspect of the prophecy is even more significant than the rising of the political dimension of the beast with the EU. The beast rose spiritually during the reign of John Paul II, the 6th king, because Antipope John Paul II was a pagan Roman king who literally taught that every man, including himself, is God and the Son of God. We prove that in our material. John Paul II preached the worship of man, and he introduced idolatry into the empire, just as pagan Roman emperors did. In his very first homily, John Paul II declared that man is the Christ of Matthew 16:16. In his first encyclical, he defined the gospel as the amazement at man and blasphemed the Holy Spirit. See our video, John Paul II's blasphemy against the Holy Spirit and his spiritual victims. Throughout his anti-papacy, he systematically preached that the Son of God became every man in the Incarnation, and therefore that every man is the Son of God. See our video, quote, St. John Paul II exposed. The reason that John Paul II was preaching that man is God and blaspheming the Holy Spirit right from the start of his reign is that pagan Rome, that is, the beast, was spiritually rising with him, the 6th king, when 5 were fallen, exactly as it was prophesied. In his role as a pagan Roman king who was preaching that man is God, John Paul II was duplicating what pagan Roman kings in the pagan Roman Empire did. More on that in a bit.